Now, today I want to deal with something to which our Lord Jesus Christ mentioned as one of his mission activities when he entered into the temple and he picked the Torah and he read the book of Isaiah, and he said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me to set the captives free." That was the main agenda, or the main mission of the coming of Jesus Christ. Besides all other activities, the healing and restoration, everything revolves around one thing, and that is setting the captives free. Now, what I would want to handle at this moment is basically something to do with how do we receive the ex-convict, because that is a main challenge that has occurred in the society lately, and no society does not have an ex-convict. Every society has and must have an ex-convict, either gone through the remand or served through the term period. And the challenge has been, how do we handle them? Because you find that many of them have maybe commit suicide, they are so frustrated, there is no work, their mind has been put into a default mode in such a way that many of them think like children, in that they have been in captivity, and as the Bible says, they were destined to death, but now they have been set free. Unfortunately, the society is not prepared, both physically and mentally, even spiritually, to receive them, because these are people who have been removed out of the society and they are coming back to the society when there is a lot of development which has gone on in all aspects, socially and community-wise. And you find that many of us who are in the society are not prepared to receive them. So the main issue here is, how do we handle the ex-convict, so that we'll be able to help one another in building the society. And that's the item that I want to receive today. So the Bible presents the church as a restorative community where the wounds of the broken are healed. This is where the wounds of the broken are healed, and this is the center where the crevices of the society is joined together. And the Bible also teaches that no one is beyond redemption, and that people should be encouraged to pursue change. We should be able to embrace change, and the church has to take part in restoring the persons into the society. So anyone who has gone into exclusivity or into captivity is actually an ex-prisoner if he is out into the society. So as the church fraternity, we need to remember that we are the pivot point between the prisoners and the society, because the society has taken them as criminals. And one question that I've been asking people is, when these persons were taken to prison, did crime cease in the society? No. So that means that even those who are within us are still criminals, and crime is still in the society. So when somebody has come out of the prison, this is a much better person than them that you still have in the society, because the person who is out of prison has experienced a lot of training, a lot of teaching, and a lot of patience and endurance that he has gone through, because prison is not a place to just go and sit and relax, but there is a lot of processing, a lot of punishments, a lot of pain, a lot of isolation. When somebody is deprived of freedom, that is enough torture for that person. Now, not just a few days, but some have gone into years and hundreds of years, and were put into prison for life, and they appeal their way out. And so that mental torture that they have is something that the society need to work on, and especially the church. Now, remember, when Joachim was released out of prison, there was celebration. That was one other way to receive somebody into the society, to celebrate his comeback. because as the Bible puts it, that they were destined to death, but now he has been released back to the society. So there has to be at least a celebration for this particular person to show him that he is embraced back into the society and he is still one of us. And by the way, these are the people who can still teach you on how to obey the laws and keep order in the community. Now, the other thing is we need to remember is to create a supportive community. Now, once these people have come back, we need to have a program where we eliminate isolation, because many a times when an ex-prisoner or an ex-convict is back into the society, we tend to isolate them and they feel unwanted, and there is a tag that has been placed on them that these are simply criminals, because there is that criminal entity that they were taken not because of anything but because they committed an offense. But you need to remember also that there are those who are in custody, who are in prison, they are innocent because of the corrupt nature of the court system, because of our pure prosecutorial system, and our community people do not know how to defend themselves, including you. You don't know anything about the constitution of your country, you don't know the laws, and we tend to break the laws all the time. But it's just that we have not been caught by the arm of the government. So the fact that you are out and you're free does not relieve you or exempt you from being a candidate of being in prison or going through the judicial system. We have a poor prosecutorial system, we have a poor judicial system which is prone to bribery in all ways, and we have had instances where innocent people are taken into captivity or into prison. And so when you have somebody who has gone through that and is back into the society, do not take him as a criminal, but take him as somebody who is one of you, but by chance, through emotions or through events that occurred in lifetime, because nobody is born a criminal. The womb that bore a person who has committed a crime is the same womb that has born a pastor. And by the way, how many pastors are criminals? We have pastors who do crazy stuff, bishops who do crazy stuff, but they're still out in the name of God in the society. Now, the other thing that we need to remember is that when we have ex-prisoners or when we have ex-convicts who are back into the society, the church or the society, the community, or people who have organized themselves to take care of these people is make sure there are available resources so that we provide them with something to sustain them during the time that they are out in custody, so that they don't become idle. Because when somebody comes out of prison, he is prone to idleness, and an idle mind is, as it says, is the devil's workshop. It's the devil's workshop because this person has to eat, he has to sustain himself, and he has to build himself to look more a part of the society. And because there is poor reception in the society, this man is likely, remember, he might have been taken to custody by himself alone, but the friends might still be around. So he might be forced by circumstances to go back into the same system. Remember also, in prison, there is no purchase of anything, and there is no responsibility apart from sitting, playing, going to work for nothing, and still eating. But here out of in the society, he is required to eat, sustain himself generally, his family if he has one, and still work to get an income. Now, if the society does not embrace him and there are not resources to sustain him and keep him at par with the society, then you will be the next target, because he has been staying in one house, sharing one room, one bed, one food with criminals who are hardcore. But now his mind has to be changed, and the person who is to change is you who is in the society. So we need to provide them with resources to sustain them during this period of adjustment. And a person who has come out of prison needs time to heal, so that you don't give him a lot of burden, a lot of responsibilities, but he needs time to heal and be restored back to the society. Now, when one of the major problems or desires or needs of an ex-convict is what I can call love. Love in the sense that they need to belong, to be part of the society, part of the community, part of the fellowship. Now, it is important that them or us who are in the society, we pull our resources together and build up a strong bond of fellowship, so that we keep revisiting each of them and each one of them to make them belong and assess them every time. Involve them in prayer groups, involve them in sporting activities, involve them in discussion and training programs, so that even they can become support for ex-convict. Those that come, they become also pillars, so that when others come in, they join the program, so that we can still build each other. So when we involve them in prayer groups and fellowships, then that actually relieves them of the history. Because remember, when Jesus resurrected Lazarus resurrected, but he had his grave clothes. Now, many of the convicts, when they come out, in as much as they don't have the garments with them, they have left them in prison, but spiritually they have the prison clothes, which has to be washed and cleansed out of them. And the people who have to undress them from with prison clothes is you, who is part of the community, and you have to provide them with the support, provide them with prayers, and be with them at all times, and let them join in activities of the community, even cleaning programs for the society, so that at least they belong to the community. Talk to them continuously. Now, the other aspect that we need to look at is the aspect of the family, where he comes from. Whether he has children, he has a wife, or other extended families, brothers and sisters, where he's going to dwell. That is another place that we need to look at very critically, because there is a negative attitude that developed within the community about that family, and there's a shame that was attached to it. But we need to remember that as long as we are alive, there are three things that must happen to a human being. Three things that must happen to a human being. Number one, you must one day get to a hospital, which is not good enough because it's also part of life. You must either get to prison in one way or another. Even in remand is still a prison. And finally, mortuary. So if you cannot escape the three of them, and these are part of life that is not associated with joy. There is always shame attached with it, pain attached to it, and mourning attached to it. So wherever possible, it is important to always also accommodate the family that was involved. Remember, when a breadwinner, for example, has been taken away, the children and the wife is very vulnerable, in that it is very easy to find them going back. For example, girls going to prostitution, the boys might end up going to get involved in drugs and theft and other activities, and even the woman or the wife or whoever has been left behind, even the men, might end up getting involved in immoral activities in the society. So let this be a community issue, or in such a way that that family which has been involved in prison activities, one of them being taken to prison, we need to make sure we engage them into understanding that that is part of life, and we need to embrace them for them to make a better tomorrow. So because somebody has been withdrawn out of the society and now he is coming back into the free world, for him to be able to be successful, the former inmates need to experience a positive social experience, which is something you as a family member can help, or you as a community person, as a pastor, can be able to facilitate their acceptance into the society, because coming out of withdrawal, out of isolation into the free world takes a lot of time, both spiritually, mentally, and physically. Now, something as simple as hosting a dinner with the few family members to welcome your loved one home is a very important thing. Just the way I've mentioned about Jehoiakim, where the Israelites welcomed him back, and they made a celebration for his comeback. Now, let us try to provide them with structures and still encourage them to be independent. Now, what we need to know about inmates is that when they are in custody, they live under conditions in which independence and self-initiative are quashed, in that they are so closed and they have no decisions of their own to make. They don't go to work, but if they have to go to work, which are few, because many of those who go to work are those who serve a short-term period, but many of them dwell in a closet and they have no mind of their own. So over time, many years, this is somebody who has never been challenged mentally. He's just there as a stooge or as an idol. So some inmates may become reliant on this highly structured prison life in order to function, because food is available, sleeping facilities is available. There is nothing much you do other than being idle. Now, because of this, once they are free, ex-prisoners can find it very difficult to navigate a world in which they have some measure of autonomy, because when they are out, for them to be able to think on how to get a job, how to do an application, and he has been out for so many years, is a great challenge that requires societal involvement for them to be built. So as we enter into the next phase, where I'm going to discuss now about mental health warnings and other activities or other characteristics that may be seen in this person, anger, bitterness, and all that. I'm going to discuss those and in depth so that we may be able to help them, so that we reduce the impact or actually the effect of ex-convicts, the prison life into the society. Because if we don't handle this, we shall be bringing in, or we shall be allowing the prison mentality into the society, and all of us will be affected because we don't handle them as they come out of the society. So thank you very much as I usher you into the next session of part 2 of how to handle an ex-convict. God bless you, and thank you for joining us. Let's keep building one another. If there is any ex-convict in your life, kindly put a comment down there so that you can refer them to me. I will be able to help him to adjust into the society. And if there is need for resources, we can always organize to see how we can help them. Shalom, and God bless you.